Welcome back to our learning space. In previous session, I have discussed briefly about cell term along with its size and function. In today's session, I will be discussing about cell along with its components and the plasma membrane which is surrounding the cell and the cytoplasm which is present inside the cell and the subcellular organelles which are suspended into the cytoplasm along with nucleus. Cell is the building block of all known organisms, or Latin meaning small room, and the term coined by Robert Hooke is of two types, eukaryotic cell and prokaryotic cell. Eukaryotic cell again is of two types, animal cell and plant cell. Animal cell consists of 37.2 trillion cells, which consist of biomolecules and organelles. Its main function is to organize and group together to form tissue. As cell is fusing to form tissues, tissue is having structurally similar cell or functionally similar cell. And the largest cell is fertilized egg, whereas longest cell is motor neuron. The cell theory was proposed by Sheldon, Schwann, and Rudolf Virchow. In brief, they are telling that all living species on Earth are composed of cells, or it is the building block of all known organisms, and it is the basic structural, functional, and biological unit of an organism. Next is all cells arise from pre-existing cells. I'll take an example of fertilized egg. The egg which is arising from the fusion of male and female gamete. These gametes are arising from male reproductive system, male reproductive system, and this female gamete is arising from female reproductive system. And upon fusion, it is forming an egg. So all cells are arising from pre-existing cells. Next is cell picture. We will be checking what all cell contains. Cell which is surrounded by cell membrane and the other subcellular organelles such as ribosomes, liposomes, centrosome, peroxisome, and most important cell organelles, subcellular organelles are Golgi apparatus, secretory vesicles, mitochondria, endoplasmic reticulum, and nucleus are suspended in the cytoplasm. Next is plasma membrane. Plasma membrane, plasma membrane, we have seen that plasma membrane is an two-layer membrane or phospholipid bilayer membrane. Phospholipid bilayer membrane. In that, two layers of phospholipids are present. In that, lipid membrane is submerged. The lipid membrane is shown as two hydrophobic ends and hydrophilic tails. These tails are present inside and hydrophobic heads are present outside the cell membrane. As they are hydrophobic in nature, they cannot allow the hydro compounds inside the cell, which are released by viruses and bacteria. Due to that, cell is getting protected from the toxic substances, toxins or toxic substances released by the outside body or foreign substances. Next is integral proteins. The integral proteins are helping in transportation of channels, transportation of membranes, and they are acting as receptors and enzymes also. Same that of the globular proteins. These proteins are also acting enzymes and they are also acting as channels for the movement of ions. as that of the integral protein. Next is peripheral proteins. So we have completed integral proteins, globular proteins, and the next is peripheral proteins. Peripheral proteins, these are present in the membrane. They are helping in cell to cell signaling. So they will give some signals to which other cells come and attach, and cell to cell interaction, so that the information from one cell it is passing to another cell. So this peripheral protein is helping in that. Next is cholesterol molecule. This. So it is giving help in the formation of structure and regulation of membranes movement. Regulation of membranes movement. The cholesterol molecule. So cholesterol molecule completed, integral protein completed, globular protein completed, peripheral protein completed, glycoproteins and glycolipids. Next is glycoproteins and glycolipids. These are carbohydrate chains. They are attached with either proteins or lipids onto the membrane surface, which are helping in recognition in immune system. Whenever an organism is not in a proper condition, when immunity is required to fight against the bacteria and virus, these proteins are helping, the glycoproteins and glycolipids. So they are helping in recognition of immune system. Next is alpha helix protein. Alpha helix protein, in that amino acids are arranged in spiral form, and they are helping in interaction between most cell to environment. Cell to environment. By this, cell membrane is completed. Next subcellular organelle is, or we will see the key points of cell membrane is, its primary function is to protect the cell components from damage and leakage. The cell membrane is there, it is protecting the cell environment from the outside environment from damage and leakage. It supports the cell. Just now we have seen the proteins are helping in supporting the cell and helps in identification of other cell by its receptors. That is alpha helix protein and peripheral protein. These are helping in identification of other cells. It controls the movements of selective substances, that is, it is justifying the semi-permeability, that phospholipid bilayer, it is not at all allowing all the ions and molecules inside the cell, only allowing the substances which are good for the cell. It separates the extracellular environment from the intracellular environment by acting as barrier, and helps in maintaining integrity and shape. Along with it regulates the cell growth through balance of endocytosis and exocytosis. Endocytosis, it is taking into the inside the molecules, and exocytosis, it is removing the waste materials outside of the cell. Also helps in communication. So these are the key points of cell membrane. Next, we will see the cytoplasm. So the cell membrane which is covering the cytoplasm, in that organelles are suspended, are consist of, or constituents are water, ions, proteins, lipids and carbohydrates. And it is usually colorless gel and have three main components. First is cytosol. Cytosol means the region between the cell membrane and the nuclear membrane is the cytosol. By removing the components such as subcellular organelles. And next is organelles which are suspended in the cytoplasm. And inclusions. Inclusions are of two types. Cytoplasmic inclusions are of two types: secretory inclusions and nutritive inclusions. Secretory inclusions are having proteins and enzymes along with acid, whereas nutritive inclusions include glycogen and lipids. Along with sometimes it have pigment granules also, such as melanin. It gives support and suspend organelles in it, and along with macromolecules transport hormones and dissolve cellular waste with the help of vacuole. The cellular activities that is taking place in cytoplasm for the organism is glycolysis, mitosis, meiosis, and protein synthesis. Organelles of cytoplasm plays an important role in the functioning of the cell. Next subcellular organelle we will be seeing is endoplasmic reticulum. We have already discussed endoplasmic reticulum is of two types, rough endoplasmic reticulum and smooth endoplasmic reticulum. The difference between rough endoplasmic reticulum and smooth endoplasmic reticulum is presence of ribosomes on rough endoplasmic reticulum. Wherever ribosomes are there, there will be a production of proteins. Here, the rough endoplasmic reticulum are producing proteins along with membranes. So, in leukocytes, the rough endoplasmic reticulum produces antibodies. So in leukocytes, it is producing antibodies, whereas in pancreatic cells, it is producing insulin. So in diabetes mellitus patient or diabetes insipidus patient or in diabetes patients or wherever insulin production is getting affected in an organism, it means the rough endoplasmic reticulum of pancreas is not performing well. The next type is smooth endoplasmic reticulum. Here, ribosomes are not present, but they are in continuous with the rough endoplasmic reticulum. It synthesizes carbohydrates and lipids. So, the proteins and membranes which are synthesized by rough endoplasmic reticulum will come to smooth endoplasmic reticulum. From there, it will come to smooth endoplasmic reticulum. From there, it will get transported to Golgi complex through specialized vesicles. In liver cells, smooth and in rough endoplasmic reticulum in leukocyte, it is producing antibodies, and in pancreas, it is producing insulin. In smooth endoplasmic reticulum, that is in liver enzymes, in the smooth endoplasmic reticulum, it is producing in enzymes. In liver, it is producing enzymes which is helping in digestion. So if digestion is not getting proper in an organism or in a patient, it means the smooth endoplasmic reticulum of liver cells are getting affected. It also assists in contraction of muscles. And in brain cells, it produces male and female hormones. If an imbalance of hormones is there, it means smooth endoplasmic reticulum of brain cells is not responding well.